Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Your main man, aka Crazy Croc, aka Andres Podcast. Folks, I'm back. Guess what? We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions, a little bit of basketball, more about the whole thing about the NBA falling apart in the United States, going back up in the Europeans and all that stuff. But first of all, we got to talk about Detroit. Detroit Lions just lost two of their key, elements of the coaching staff, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. Now, a lot of us is going to wonder why Ben Johnson left. To be honest with you, I think he left purposely because he knew his time frame to be actually a head coach is very slim, and this is a good opportunity for Ben Johnson to move up to the next stage of his career. However, you can also look at it this way. One, he didn't leave Detroit last year when he had the opportunity with whole drafting before Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams ended up being a great quarterback, and guess what? Now Ben Johnson's leaving. So it's kind of, you kind of wonder if he would have left anyways if, let's say, the Bears weren't good at all. And they sucked, and Caleb Williams was in a lot of heap of trouble because he couldn't perform. So that's something to say about Ben Johnson. He's an opportunist. I do think that in some ways, the respect of the game, respect of the team, respect of the organization, I think that's one thing that's gone away from sports is that you win together and you fall together, or you build a team together and then you complete the task by getting to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl. And I think that in some ways this could be hurt in the game. But in other ways, this is probably a great thing for the game because that means new coaches, new cities have an opportunity to be as good as the team that they left or as bad as the team that they were good at, depending on the way that you want to look at it. So, congratulations to Ben Johnson. I think that there's a key element I don't think that Ben Johnson has, and then that's that alpha male personality. And I think that there are some good qualities in Ben Johnson about communicating with the quarterback and doing what is good for the team. But I really think that getting guys who are 6'6", 250 pounds behind him and to believe in the system, and now he's going to have to coach the defensive team as well. So he's got to be watching that perspective. That's going to be something to think about for him. I think that when it comes down to Dan Campbell is a person of two worlds. He's a offensive guy who was a tight end, but he has a defense of a defense personality, I would think. Very alpha, very macho, real like, let's get tough, let's get nitty, let's get going. And that's something that I think a lot of these coaches that have never played in the league that don't have that. So it's going to be something about Ben Johnson leaving. I think he has an opportunity to come back to Detroit if the era of Dan Campbell ends in 5 to 3 years or whatever. Now, the concern really is not about the offense coordinator, because you can always find a new offense coordinator that has the same type of play call that Ben Johnson had. You can go to the college league, you can go to other NFL leagues. You can even take Chip Kelly from Ohio State to come back to the NFL to coach under Dan Campbell. A lot of people from Michigan will probably go, oh, don't do that. But it's a business. So if you know something that's going to work in your league or on your team, then take the opportunity to make it happen. So do I think that I don't think the problem will be finding a new offense coordinator. I think the problem will be understanding if if Jared Goff is going to be able to maintain his so-called prime of his years, or prime years of his career, based on what Brad Holmes have said in his press conference a couple of days ago. So that is something that you're going to have to consider. That some people think that, like myself, I think that Jared Goff, I don't know if he's ever going to peak, and I don't think he's ever going to not peak. But I do know that he does struggle under pressure. I know that he does struggle under instincts of in the moment decisions. When the decisions are not 1, 2, 3, and he has to make a play, that's going to be something that's really going to be crucial for the new offense coordinator and the new scheme of the game for Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff is probably one of the nicest people in the world. Do I think he's the alpha of the team? Probably not. You always need an alpha on the football field as well. And I don't know if that's him at all. So saying that, I just think that it's going to be a question of Jared Goff, not the offense coordinator. Again, the offense coordinator makes calls for 3rd down and 7, and they run the football continuously and don't make the first down, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have to probably take a couple of Ben Johnson's scheme of the game to keep St. Brown involved, to open up the field for Williamson, for and Gibbs and Montgomery and Laporta. I think that Detroit has a fine balance of players that the new offense coordinator won't have much of a problem getting the ball to or making plays up for each of those players. Jared Goff is going to be the question of the day. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn is someone that I think a lot of Detroit Lion fans were kind of speculating that he's just not. He's good, but he's not that great. I think he's a good person, probably. I don't know. Do I think that him going to the Jets is a good idea? Probably not, because the Jets doesn't need a defensive coordinator again like they had before. That didn't work out for them. They had an old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. They don't know if he's coming back this year or next year for them. But Aaron Glenn, I think maybe they signed him up because he'll put the balance on the team. As an old veteran player himself, I think he'll be able to get that team going, or in that way. That's what I'm thinking that the Jets are looking for. I don't know why they think that they need in today's NFL, you're going to run more offense than defense. You're going to be on offense. You're going to go on 4th down and 3s and 4th down and 5s and where the base of the ball is or the scrimmage line of the football is, you're going to probably go for it. So going for the defensive coordinator, defense of the coach as a head coach is something questionable in today's era, where in the Ben Johnson Chicago Bears, you got Caleb Williams, you got everything going forward. That's probably one of the better pickups for the NFL team. Moving on from there, here's something that's kind of, I didn't really realize that Tara Williams, who's going to be a defense coordinator, the New England Patriots, is going to be next to Mike Vrabel, who also played for the Patriots years ago, of the Super Bowl era of the Patriots. Both Tara Williams and Mike Vrabel, they know each other by the Titans, Tennessee. And unfortunately, a lot of the guys liked Tara Williams. And that's something, I think that's probably one of the bigger losses for Detroit. I think that's probably one of your bigger losses, Detroit. It's a defensive line guy that could communicate with the players pretty well. The players seem to respond to him. However, that was one of the weaker spots of our team. And everyone said if Aiden Hutchinson was in the game, or McNeil was on the team, we would have been in the Super Bowl, we would have be Washington Commanders. I do think that our defensive line was fairly weak, even with Smith, who was traded to Detroit from Cleveland. That's something that we need to kind of consider about that itself. That if you lose your guy and you lose him to an injury, or lose two guys, or lose a lot of guys in injury, especially the defense line, you still got to put pressure on the quarterback without your A and your B guy. There just needs more productivity. So Detroit signed the defense coordinator, run play defense guy, Casey Rogers. For the last 6 years, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He also won a Super Bowl with them. For the last 3 years, he was a defense line coach, and he was a defense coordinator. He helped Vita Vera improve his game. He helped Williams Goshen to improve his game. He helped Dominic Sue during the end of his career. He won a 2020 John Terlick line coach defense coach of the year. This is a promising thing though. In 2024, he tied the sixth in sacks, 46, which is really great. 2024, he also was fourth in run defense, 97.8. That's really good. Under 100 yards. So I think that we got a double whammy, or double good, double dipping for having Casey Rogers pickup, if that's still in the paperwork itself. By the words, there's been an offer from Detroit to get him over here. So that's awesome. Saying as a Detroit Lion fan, I think that it's nothing's guaranteed in the NFL, and it was kind of I think maybe people were right. The injuries caught up with Detroit. And I'm more disappointed in Ben Johnson's departure than I am with Aaron Glenn. Just because I thought that, maybe if Ben Johnson thought that he was never going to be a head coach anywhere else, maybe that's why he picked up the job. But it is what it is. Move on. That's something about Brad Holmes said as well. He said, well, Brad Holmes said in a kind of respect, there's literally nothing else to do but to pick yourself back up and work. And that's what it is. We have to go back to work. We have to go back to do things that we got us there. We got to, Aiden Hutchinson will be ready. Sewell. I don't know why I call McNeil. Sewell will be back. So everything's going to be up. Everything's going to be good. I think we have a better defense. I think, again, we have other offense coordinators up in the office that can help play and make the play calls as well. Let's move on to the NBA, Adam Silva. I think he's a crock of crap. I think he's selling out to the Europeans. I think that the Europeans must be loving the NBA because I don't know why. Probably because they hired a bunch of Europeans to play in the NBA. So, is the NBA over in America? Is it time to have the Big Three, Ice Cube's league, to open up an opportunity 5-on-5 for maybe an 8-man roster on the team? Play pick up to a certain amount of points as they do in the Big Three. Is the NBA over? There's no really competition. There's too many games for the NBA players. NBA players are now no longer wanting to play over 60, 70 games a year. Jimmy Butler and players like him are making the league and the service of the league into a hassle for them. Maybe too much money, maybe not enough mental stability after the game or during or after the season's over. There's just so many things to look at the NBA that I think that the NBA is kind of over. I think it's over. I think I think the NBA peaked and was coming down, declining of the Michael Jordan era. And I think that all you people that think, well, we had Kobe, but no, Kobe was Michael Jordan. He was copycat everything Michael Jordan did. So you peaked when Michael Jordan peaked. The NBA ruined Adam Silva and David Stern ruined the NBA. David Stern made the NBA the most watchable thing in the world, but he made that to the most worst thing to watch in the world. He sold out. Adam Silva and David Stern sold out. They completely sold out. The game isn't about winning and losing. The game is about how much money can I make per game, per minute, per second, and I don't have to play for people. And you don't have to play for people. If you don't want to play the NBA, if you want to be Zion Williams' son, then don't play. And maybe that's good. Maybe we need to weave out all the players that don't want to play. Maybe one of the curriculums to asking a question is that, who's your favorite player and why? And if any of them say, well, I like Barkley and I like Drexler and I like this guy, and they ask him, how many championships do you want to win? And if they say, oh, I don't care about championships, I'm just trying to feed my family, then don't sign them. I'm serious. Then don't sign them, because in reality, even Charles Barkley said to other players, you're not responsible for your whole family's well-being because they're not making money. You're the talent. You're not their financial advisor. And tell you the truth, that's true. So in some ways, I think the NBA is shot. No one's, and it's funny because Saturday, when I hear this on Monday, Saturday, it's funny that they had the games on at noon, right at noon. And they were trying to compete with the college NCAA games. And I thought it was kind of funny that they did that, because back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, these games were at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, where, you're like, oh, my college team is done. I don't want to watch Duke. I don't want to watch North Carolina. F those games. I'm going to watch the NBA. And it's now that they're showing the NBA earlier and earlier in the day on Saturday, which I thought was kind of funny that they did that. But I really do think the big three, Ice Cube's league, should really put themselves into the spectrum of having contracts fulfilled during the NBA. I'm serious. If you make it like an 8-person team and you make it maybe 32 games a year, just almost like college, almost like the college leagues or the college tournaments too. And you do that for 5 months, eight players per team, 3-on-3, 5-on-5, full court, but you play up to 40 points or 50 points. And then fouls are not called unless the player calls a foul. I'm serious. I really think that the NBA, I really think that this new league should be started by guys who used to play in Rutgers or parts of Detroit, or parts in New York City or Chi-Town, or anywhere in the United States where the guys said, yeah, we used to have ballers back in the day. And we used to go run up down the court, and people used to come into those Rutgers tournaments paying money to watch these players play. I think that's what they should do. I think Ice Cube should really consider trying to buy a contract with the CW or Fox. There's not a game on Fox, especially the NBA. It's on ABC, CBS, Fox. My gosh, do that. I mean, I mean, one of the best markets that you could go by is maybe sidekick Detroit. Maybe go sidekick Grand Rapids. Maybe you have a sidekick of teams that are not in the. You have teams, the major. You have the second major cities in all the states that you want the games to be played in. So whatever team is second to whatever city is second to Philadelphia is what you would have the second team, or your 3-on-3, big three Ice Cube League. Just perspective, just something to change things up. Obviously, the paying won't be as great as the NBA, but if you can get guys to leave the NBA and say, "Hey, man, we'll give you $3 million for 3 months of the whole year to play about 35 games," and you be televised every single game. So if you have 8 teams on CBS or Fox or CW, those games will be on CW every single time. And people will watch that because no one's going to watch the NBA. No one in America, no one's going to care about some guy from France playing in the NBA. I don't care. I don't care if he plays for the Spurs. I don't care. I'm not a Frenchman. I'm not German. I don't like watching soccer. The only times I watch soccer is when the Women's National League is on. But because they're good. But I'm not going to watch Scotland against England and England against Wales. I'm not going to watch the German league because I'm not German soccer or football. So I don't understand why a lot of these European leagues are going big. Yeah, we had Dirk Nowitzki, which is probably a phenomenal player, but I'm never going to watch a German soccer team or a German basketball team because of Dirk Nowitzki. Even Dirk Nowitzki was playing basketball in Germany. I can't imagine any Dallas Maverick fan saying, "I'm going to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning just so I can watch Dirk Nowitzki in Germany." That doesn't make any sense to me. So, new league for the WNBA, and the new league for the Big Three for the NBA, or a mini league for the new basketball league will be awesome to think about. Detroit Lions, that's something to think about. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you guys have a good week. I'm no longer going to have episodes on Thursdays, or maybe not Fridays, maybe Monday and Wednesday. And probably that's going to be because no one's listening to my podcast on Thursdays. No. Oh, well, you didn't even know that. But all right, folks, peace, love. I'm out of here.